Alright, so we are going to finish looking at the bureaucracy unit by focusing on how we can make it better, how we can reform it. And by now you should be giggling at the irony of this political. Alright, let's look at the first way you can make bureaucracy smaller. And quite simply, you can just terminate a program. It can be very drastic. It can be hard to do because you have to get Congress, both chambers, to agree. And think about all the constituents you might be making very angry by getting rid of some of their favorite programs. And you'll read more about that in a few minutes. A more politically safe way to get rid of bureaucracy, at least at the federal level, is to use the concept of devolution. The idea here is to take the federal program and responsibility and push it down to the state and local governments. It's not as drastic, so it's more safe than terminating a program politically, and you still keep constituents happy, though you might make the states and local governments a little bit more angry because, oh my God, they're going to have to pay for these things. You should be thinking to yourself, how is this concept of devolution connected to the statistics we've seen on civil servants? Well, let's take a look. Hey, check a look at this. You'll notice how we haven't really increased federal civil servants very much in the last 40 years, but you'll notice that state and local government employees have gone up. And some people think that is because of devolution, the idea here of putting more responsibilities back on the state and local government. And because of that, who is going to work in these programs that the state and local government now have to do? State and local government, bureaucrats. All right. The last concept here is privatization, and just like the word private, to take something from the government and replace it with a private company. The government is still funding these programs, but instead of spending money on government workers, which can have very expensive benefits, as we've learned about, you have private companies perform the service, whether it's local trash collection at the local government or providing security in foreign countries. This is something that the U.S. government did during the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts. You still have soldiers there, but maybe you have private security, guarding bases, guarding generals, guarding diplomats. All right. Other ways the government has tried to be more efficient and productive is through something called the Government Performance and Results Act of 1997, which was put through during the Clinton administration. And the idea here was to make government more efficient, more modern through the use of electronic government. And then you have the concept of whistleblowers. Now, whistleblowers are connected here because if the government is being inefficient, if they're doing something illegal, a whistleblower has the rights to report this information through a proper channel of communication, as we'll see in just a second. The Whistleblower Protection Act, a law passed in '89, makes it illegal for superiors to retaliate, to demote, to fire, to make life very tough on those people who do blow the whistle, who do tell about the government doing something illegal or their superiors doing something legal. The fear here is that instead of whistleblowers going through government channels, they might leak this information to the media, and leaking information isn't protected by the Whistleblower Protection Act. You think of Edward Snowden, he didn't go through the proper channels of reporting what he thought the government, or reporting what he thought was wrong actions done by the government. He took his information to Glenn Greenwald and other reporters, and that is very controversial, is very controversial. I love this political cartoon. I hope this one makes you giggle a little bit too. Now that you know what a whistleblower is, you should get it. Here is the definition of whistleblowing from the federal government. Disclosing information that he or she reasonably believes is evidence of mismanagement, waste of funds, abuse of authority, And as you can see, these are often common complaints about federal bureaucracy. And so whistleblowers have protections. They can call numbers. They can contact the U.S. Office of Special Counsel, and they can, show these efficiencies without the worry of any career repercussions. And the last concepts we want to talk about when it comes to reforming the bureaucracy are sunshine and sunset laws. And the idea of sunshine laws is this concept that covers many different rules and laws that make agencies more transparent. The idea here is the Freedom of Information Act, the Open Meetings laws. The Freedom of Information Act allows people to request information from bureaucratic agencies. If people want to see, the funding levels or the decision-making process, let's say of the Department of Energy, or maybe in some cases the Department of Defense, they can file paperwork to receive this information from the government. Obviously, there are limits. There are, national security issues. There are privacy rights of the civil servants. So there are limits on what the FOIA laws can provide. All right, keep getting interrupted by these announcements. And as you can see, I love this cartoon here because it shows you the idea of sunshine laws is, making it so that the government is less secretive, so that, we have an idea of what our government's doing. And the whole idea of sunshine laws is to make government more open, more transparent, so that we don't live in an authoritarian state. And the last set of laws to make the government more transparent are called sunset laws. And the basic idea here is just like every day the sun sets, the day ends, we begin anew tomorrow. The idea of sunset laws are that federal programs have expiration dates, and that sometimes in order for them to continue, they need to be reauthorized by Congress. The Bush tax cuts were an example of that. Before they could be continued, Congress had to verify and make sure they were being effective, that they were being helpful. Same thing with federal programs. Congress has the ability to use their oversight power to determine if they are still needed, if the government should still pay for them. And the last thing here is this great cartoon, another great cartoon that I think shows the symbolism of sunshine laws. And take a few minutes to view it, take a few minutes to see if you understand what the actual symbolism of this message is. I hope this was informative. Along with the reading connected to this assignment, you should understand and be confident in knowing how we are reforming and making the federal bureaucracy more effective and more efficient. Adios.